Good morning, friends. This is John. Just doing an epilogue after the Camino de Santiago. I'm in Barcelona, and so these first couple of photos are just sunrise photos, and there's a couple more from the place that I'm staying. I'm staying in a hospital, and we're staying on the top floors, and it's just beautiful. And I did a bicycle tour of Barcelona, so this is along the beach of Barcelona. The bicycle tour took us a bunch of different
Beautiful.
places. So I did a Spanish Civil War tour, and then the bike tour was just to go around. You have a guide, and that's her in front of me, and then you just bike around, and they point out different spots in Barcelona. It took about 4 hours for the bicycle tour, so we got to go a bunch of different places, and I love being out on a bike. I immediately got on a bike and had a big smile on my face just because I enjoy cycling. And they've got a lot of these small, narrow streets, which are really neat. There's obviously the old part of Barcelona that we spent a fair amount of time in, stopping at different places and then exploring some of these little nooks and crannies and avenues. And then there were several places we had to stop and walk our bikes because there were too many people or it was too close. And just some food photos. And then these are some photos from Denise. So after the Camino, she went to Finisterre and sent us some really nice photos of her stay in Finisterre. And then, like I said, I went to Madrid, and Nick and I both happened to be in Madrid at the same time, so we were hanging out. And then this is where we ate. There was a Dixie bar, so we ended up stopping there and having some drinks and some food at the Dixie bar in Madrid. It was really nice. They have so many outdoor cafes in Spain. It's just very nice. And then on the subways, there's just so much music, and that's just one of the instruments they were playing. And then this is a photo that Jesus sent me back to work, back to his normal life. And this is a photo from the Prado Museum that I went to in Madrid, and some more views from the top of the hotel where I'm staying, top of the hotel, top of the hospital where I'm staying. In the morning, the sunrise is just gorgeous up there from where we eat breakfast at in the morning. And then the Spanish Civil War tour, this is a orphanage, and you can see that hole there is where they would put the baby in, and then there's a little slot for a note for the orphanage because before the Spanish Civil War, people were so poor, many people couldn't afford to have babies. And this is a place that was bombed by Italy during the Spanish Civil War. And these are just some nice photos from around Barcelona. So after the Camino, I took a couple of days and went down to Madrid. The first day, Nick was there, and so we hung out for a couple of days. I think I mentioned that Nick got a capsule hotel, which meant that he basically had a box, and you get in the box and close the door, and that's your little space. And unfortunately, his space not only had him, but it also had bed bugs. And so he woke up the next day with bites, and then couldn't do what he wanted to do, had to go clean his stuff. This is a really neat mural that is in Barcelona. So all these little pieces come together to form a mural that you'll see in a second. With the naked eye, I had a difficult time telling what it was, but when you take a photograph of it, it's pretty easy to tell what the mural is. It's very popular that people to take all kind of photos. And this is the Cathedral of Barcelona. But so after the Camino, I went down to Madrid. Hung out with Nick. I went to the Prado, and then Jesus has invited me to come stay with his order, his Catholic order, and they run this hospital. So the members of the order stay in the top 2 floors of this hospital, and so this is where they have their guest quarters. And so I'm in a guest room for when they want to have friends come by and stay and hang out. So every day I eat breakfast with the members of the order. Sometimes lunch and usually dinner with them. This is from the photos from the Banksy Museum here in Barcelona. It's really neat, this order. They do so much work. They run 2 hospitals in Barcelona, and then they constantly bring in, so there's a family from Senegal. They bring people in for treatment. There's a family from Senegal that they flew in, the father and the son both are finishing their cancer treatments. So they just have so many, they do so much good. So many of the members of the brothers, many of the brothers that are here spent time. One guy worked in Sierra Leone for 20 years. Jesus has been to Africa on many occasions to work as a doctor, as a pediatrician. So it's really nice being around them. It's a really interesting community to be a part of. It's one of my favorite pictures there, Jesus being blessed by the nun. That's a picture from dinner last night where we went out to dinner. But, that's been kind of my post-Camino transition is hanging out with this brotherhood, thinking about, some of the good work that they do, and then taking advantage of the time that I've got and the hospitality because they're so friendly and nice that allow me just to hang out and be a tourist in Barcelona and enjoy the town. And then Jesus has a couple of things planned for us to do, to go visit some places nearby and to visit some friends of his. That'll be really good. Nick and I were texting back and forth about returning to normal life after the Camino. And so Jesus he had to dive right back into normal life because that's what, he doesn't really have another choice because he's so busy. Denise, as you saw, went to Finisterre, and then she went to the United Kingdom, and she's going to spend time with family. Nick is going to spend a week with his kids, and he's going to, he's talking about how he's going to integrate, what he gets out of the Camino into his normal life. Denise, there's a picture of Emily. She spent, she was with us for the first, 2 weeks of the Camino, and then she had to go back to her family. Denise was interesting in that she said the Camino really restored her faith in people, and which is really, she's gone through some interesting things for her to say that, and so I've thought about that a little bit because I really haven't thought a lot about, what did I get out of the Camino? It's very different than normal life because you're walking every day and you're meeting new people every day. It's a little more of an adventure. But I do think it helped me think good things about people just because I got so many kind messages from so many people, family, friends. I hadn't really thought about that a ton, but I think that's true in that it really made me feel loved and appreciated with all the kind messages and things that so many people sent to me. As far as the adventure, I think Sammy is the one who really took on the adventure. So Sammy graduated from college in Germany and then went walking around and then eventually came down to walking around Europe and did the Camino. Right now, he is working at a vineyard in Portugal in Portugal, and then he signed up to be a part of a sailing crew to sail from the south of Spain to the Canary Islands. And I asked him, what do you know about sailing? And he said nothing. Not been sailing, doesn't know anything about sailing. He's just embracing the adventure and freedom that he has while he just graduated from college, which I think is tremendous and daring. And I wish I would have had the guts to do something like that. But he seems to really be enjoying himself. So that's kind of the update from the post-Camino life. I've just been really enjoying myself. Madrid was wonderful. The Prado was wonderful. And it's been really nice being here in Barcelona. This order, the brothers have been really nice. Staying here is really a blessing, getting to meet all these different people. They have people come, there's new people at breakfast or dinner every day that are either coming here for training or they're friends of some of the brothers that are visiting or staying here like I am. But that's kind of what's been happening. So thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.